But yeah, well, here's hopefully going to be an outlet for you to talk a little bit of wrestling, and we'll bring some good guests on where you can talk a little bit about wrestling and you can share your uninformed opinion as a fan, and maybe you could even start a newsletter and share your uninformed opinion and people would pay you for it. Who knows?
Can I call it journalism?
You sure can.
Sure. Sweet.
Yeah. Absolutely.
For those wondering what we're referring to, Dave Meltzer has me blocked on Twitter. He did not like my key demo jokes, I guess. Blocked me.
Really? Well. Dave Meltzer has you blocked on Twitter?
Yeah, I think, well, okay. So there were two tweets, right? The first one was, and I don't remember what the match was, but I said if it was in the Tokyo Dome, it would have been 7 stars.
Okay.
I can see where that was kind of like a stinger. I get it. Then I tweeted, Dave Meltzer says I'm in the key demo, and that got me blocked.
Wow.
So, no going back now, right?
I mean, I guess it's just, you didn't say anything like disrespectful or, I mean, you didn't call him a name or weren't rude. I mean,
Yeah.
So, but that's all right. You know what?
Dave, if you're out there listening, for some reason, which I'm sure Austin Aries here would say, don't continue to pay Dave Meltzer, but I still pay for your newsletter, Dave.
Wait, so you pay for he blocked you, but you still pay for his newsletter?
Yeah, I know, right? This is like this is like a life-changing moment here. I got to think about the way I'm living.
You didn't disclose this before we made this agreement to do this podcast together, because if I had known that, I might have had a different opinion about doing this podcast with you, Jeff Townsend.
Well, see, I like wrestling so much, I would read anything, even if I agreed with it or not. That's pretty bad, huh?
Yeah. I don't have a strong opinion on Dave Meltzer one way or the other, to be honest. And I certainly don't hate on the hustle, right? I mean,
Yep.
Think what you want, and there's many different opinions. But one thing I'll always say is, he has dedicated his life and an enormous amount of time and energy into covering the thing that I do for a living. And, without people like that, there would be a void. There would be something missing in this, pro wrestling community. So, we all play important roles. And, me and Dave's relationship kind of got off on the wrong foot initially, back when I was with TNA the first time. He misreported something, and I'm sure it was fed to him by the company. So he reported it, but it wasn't factually correct. And it painted the picture differently than reality. And I was pretty upset about that because I'd never spoken to him before. So I remember I got his phone number from Gabe Sapolsky. I was actually in the Ring of Honor office when I read this, and I called him up. And, as I had a tendency to do in my younger years, I was pretty fired up and pretty fiery and probably cursed him out a little bit. And
I'm sure you did.
Well, I just said, listen, if you want to report shit about me, call me. I'll tell you the truth.
You got to go to the source. That's journalism.
Go to at least give the source the opportunity to give you the other version of the story so you can figure out what it was. And basically the story was this, right? So I got suspended. The first time I got suspended at TNA at the time was I was working for Ring of Honor full time, and they wanted us to come down on a Friday. Actually, on a Saturday, they wanted us to come down a day early for the pay-per-view because they were worried about a snowstorm, right? And so I got the call at 2 p.m. from TNA to say, hey, we want you all to come down, for this because of the snowstorm. And I just said, hey, I'm on my way to the Ring of Honor show, right? I did Friday night. Now I got the show Saturday, and I'll fly down tomorrow. And
that's who you worked for.
That was who was paying my bills. And I was just kind of a part-time per appearance guy for TNA at the time. But Ring of Honor, I was running the school. That was my full-time gig. And it's just also not how I do business. I don't know shows. I don't, last minute. And so it was 2 p.m, the day of the show, that we were told to basically skip the Ring of Honor show and come down to Florida. And I declined, and I stayed and did which was the first show was called Unscripted because half the guys got pulled from the cards. So Gabe had to come up with something on the fly, and that was called Unscripted. And anyway, long story short, when Dave reported it, he said that we were told the day before, we were told on Friday that TNA wanted us to come down, which to me is a big difference. If you tell somebody on a Friday that we want you to come down Saturday and Gabe has 24 hours notice to rework the card, maybe I consider it. I probably still wouldn't have done it. I was not going to screw over Ring of Honor. But the reality was I was told literally at 2:00 on Saturday that they wanted me to catch a flight in 3 hours and be down there. And I just felt like it just painted a different picture, right? Like that we were given advance notice when there was no advance notice. Nobody was given advance notice. And anyway, that was a story, not a big deal, and at that time, still learning how the pro wrestling media worked and understanding that whole landscape. And so it's all good. I think the nicest thing Dave Meltzer's ever said about me was if I was 6 feet tall, people would talk about me like I was Shawn Michaels, which is a nice backhanded compliment. Because I'm not 6 feet tall, if anybody's wondering. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like it's like an attaboy with a bad boy with it. But anyways, yeah, no, I know what you're saying. So yeah, but Uncle Dave and I, hopefully we can rekindle our relationship one day. Because I've always supported him. I mean, I don't have a problem with him, but maybe a couple tweets, maybe the key demo offended him.
Yeah. I mean, it should have, but.
All right. This is Jeff Townsend. Thanks for checking out the Austin Aries show here on YouTube. If you're enjoying the show, please subscribe to it and share it with all your friends. There are plenty more videos for you to check out in the meantime. And this content, of course, is available on all podcast listening platforms. If you want to learn more about the show, go to austinariesshow.com.